So as I told you guys that we will be starting to work with loops, and we will start working with some simple basic loops, and then we will come back to the examples that we have already covered, and then we will make some changes to them. So since all of you had exposure to some form of loops, just to revise the concept, loop is the programming construct which allows you to go over a bunch of code over and over again till certain condition is met. If the condition is met, the loop will terminate, and if the condition is not met, in a way, we're going to just keep looping. So that's what we will going to be looking at. So we will be starting with a while loop example. So first of all, in this very simple example, I will write a while loop that will print numbers 1 through 5. So print numbers 1 through 5. So my starting point is 1. In a while loop, I will say as long as the condition is not false, as long as I is less than or equals to 5, keep looping. So basically, keep looping till the condition becomes false. If the condition is true, keep looping. Okay. So what I'm doing here is I'm just simply printing the value of I. That's all I'm doing. Okay. And then since I will not automatically increment, I have to have a mechanism in place to increment the value of I by a number. In this case, I'm incrementing by 1. A very, very simple program. It will simply print numbers 1 through 5. In the first cycle of the loop, I is less than equals to 1, print less than equals to 5. It prints 1, increments it, makes it 2. Then checks to see if 2 is less than equals to 5. Yes, prints 2, makes it 3. Checks to see if 3 is less than equals to 5. Yes, prints 3, makes it 4. Like that, prints 4, makes it 5, prints 5. When it makes it 6, then the loop will terminate. So that's why you see outputs 1 through 5. Now let's save this example as, instead of while loop example, we're going to call this one do while loop example. Hover over it to rename the file. The do while and while work very similar, except for the fact that do while is a post condition loop. So you check the condition in the end versus in the beginning. So you start out with do, you come down into the loop, and then you check the condition towards the end. The output of this program will be exactly the same as the output of the first program. First, make the change, run it, and then I have a few questions for you, just so that you understand the difference between the two loops. So now my question to you is, what is the difference between while and do while? And the answer is very simple. While is a precondition loop. That means you check the condition before you enter the body of the loop. And do while is a post-condition loop. That means you will check the condition towards the end of the body of the loop. My next question to you is, which one of the two is more efficient? Is while more efficient or do while more efficient? Do while is more efficient. Let me explain to you why. Let's go to the while example first. This is the while example. Okay. Now, line number 7 is the decision-making line for us. Okay. First time the loop runs, the value of I is 1. I make my first check when I is 1, right? I make my second check when I is 2. I make my third check when I is 3. I make my fourth check when I is 4. I make my fifth check when I is 5. I make my sixth check when I is 6, and that's the termination point, right? Everybody understands that? Now, let's go to the do while. The do while, okay? When do while starts, do while does not make any check. You go right into the program. The first time you make a check, the value of I is already 2 because you increment and then make a check. Okay, so you can see right away the do while will check one less time. The rest of the logic is the same. It makes one less check than the while. And that's what makes it more efficient and faster. Okay, now let's go to the third approach, which is the for loop approach, the most condensed approach. So we will save this example as for loop example. And in for loop, the good thing is you can write in the body of the for loop everything. For I is equals to 1. I is less than equals to 5 and I plus plus. Everything in one place. Don't have to do a thing other than that. That's it. You know, you just put everything in one place and it works exactly the same way. Does that make sense to you guys? The for loop approach? Okay. Now, in for loop, there are so many variations. In for loop, if you say, I have already declared my variable ahead of time, you can simply skip this step, just like that. Will work exactly the same way. If you say that I want to increment in the body of the loop, you can also skip that step. The output will be exactly the same. So all your for loop has is the condition to check. The rest of the stuff is done for you.